Sup though, your boy Skill Skeezy over here, and welcome to Who Dat, a show where we shine the spotlight on a particular South African hip-hop artist to give you a better understanding of who they are, how they made it, and where they are in their career at the time of this recording. Today's video is on an artist who in a lot of ways inspired a lot of my reasoning for starting this channel and creating this sort of content on YouTube. An artist I feel deserves more love than he receives from the South African hip-hop scene. My main goal as a hip-hop fan is to see South African hip-hop grow to a point where it takes up its rightful place in the world stage. I believe there's more than enough talent to go around in South African hip-hop, yet most of it gets overlooked due to various reasons. But instead of just presenting the problems, I aim to enlighten my fellow South Africans and the world about all the different flavors of hip-hop South African artists have to offer, not just to South Africa but to the whole world. Like Andre 3000 said at that one particular award show, I would also like to say in a similar vein, the South got something to say. So listen up. Richard Moloi, better known by his stage name Priddy Ugly, is a South African rapper born in Luanda, Angola on the 2nd of April 1992. He was, however, raised in Meadowlands and later in Kempton Park, South Africa. Priddy Ugly's mom, Santa Maria Dominguez, is from Angola, and his father, Lebone Moloi, is South African, which explains a lot about his looks, as some people end up thinking he is colored in South Africa. He is mixed, just not in the most common way. He credits his dad, who was a civil rights activist himself, for introducing him to hip-hop via Tupac's music, which later inspired him in grade 4 to do a school project on the Black Panther Black Power African American Civil Rights Movement, which Tupac's parents were a part of. Imagine doing a project on that at grade 4, bruh. Yeah, Priddy Ugly did that. Priddy Ugly competed for South Africa's national athletics youth team while he was at Morocco Swallows Academy. He was at high school at the time, and looking at him today, he's still built like an athlete. At the age of 15, he competed in and won Best Male Dancer Award at St. Peter's National Dance Tournament. His next move might sound a little familiar to you if you already watched my video profile on Frank Casino, as Priddy Ugly would also go on to join the same boy group named Crunk Era and would later change their name to Black, then getting signed to Huge Entertainment by Vusi Liu in 2007. 2010 saw Priddy Ugly going solo and inking a deal with Aviator Management, and in 2012 Aviator Management artists released a compilation album titled The Takeoff, which featured a good number of Priddy Ugly's first songs. He would also release his debut solo mixtape titled The Ugly Truth in the same year. Around October 2016, popular high-end brand Diesel announced that they would be partnering with Priddy Ugly in a collaboration that will, in their words, bring a refreshing new dimension to their brand's image. And this is what Priddy Ugly had to say about the endorsement deal. He said, "This is the first time Diesel had partnered with an African act, and I believe this symbolizes a global African standard of excellence surrounding the Priddy Ugly brand." Look, I just remember at the time how excited I was about this development, and till today I feel like Priddy Ugly deserves more deals like this, and have no doubt he will continue breaking the norms. Now, I don't usually do this part in my videos because I couldn't care less about which rapper is dating who and whatnot with all that gossip stuff. I strictly focus on the come up, some interesting tidbits here and there about the artist I'm profiling, but I feel it would be like a crime for me to go through Priddy Ugly's profile without mentioning his queen, Bontle Modiselle, who is an actress, television presenter, radio personality, dancer, choreographer, singer, and model. Like, bro, she does it all. And on the 28th of September 2019, Pretty Ugly married her after basically dating each other for what feels like forever, or in terms South Africans can understand, since the Megxit days, okay? Before the BBM era. Yeah, bro, they've been together forever and have recently started a beautiful, beautiful family. And now for my favorite part of the video, the part that will highlight what makes Pretty Ugly one of the best and most consistent hip-hop artists in the country. It's time to discuss his discography. The earliest project I know Pretty Ugly to have dropped was a mixtape titled The Ugly Truth, and according to my research, this came out in 2012 and got his buzz off to a very good start. But most of the information about this mixtape is very scarce, and even finding the actual project is very difficult. At least it was for me, so I'ma start by analyzing his later work, starting off with a project that he dropped before his official studio album, and it was titled You Don't Know Me Yet. You Don't Know Me Yet was released on March of 2016, produced entirely by Pretty Ugly's day one super beat maker and rapper Wichi1080, who even pitches in as a rapper in one of the tracks on the project, and of course did not disappoint production wise or with the verse. The project kicks things off with the song that is titled after the whole project and features a female vocalist by the name of Rafi Sings, who is actually an early collaborator of Pretty Ugly, and all I can say is whenever they link up, the result is like a Picasso painting, man. It's just pure art. This was like the perfect intro for the project. Ugly doesn't waste time getting to the slick, smooth wordplay he is known for. Just splendid, bruh. OMG follows, and it's that track that features Wichi1080, and boy, is this the most coolest brag song I ever heard from Broski. Ugly just naming all the cool things he possesses, and Wichi does his thing too, but this beat takes the cake, man. Easily one of the hardest Wichi beats ever cooked up. That song, and one of the standouts for me, is titled Harnett. The song was released as a single before the project dropped, and I can tell why. I mean, this is the lead single, man. Like, it just sounds like a lead single. For me, it's how Priddy is just flowing on this one. It complements the beat so well. This is what they mean by riding the beat, okay? The song also features a soundbite from one of South Africa's most savage real-life gangster, okay, Malevin. And if you understand the context, it makes the song that much doper, and that's something I gotta point out about Pretty Ugly. See, the beats sound so good, it's international level of quality, yet the message Pretty Ugly puts on the music is unquestionably South African. It's very easy to be ignorant about him if you are not too familiar with his sound, but this is on point, man, in my opinion. It's so on point, you can pop a balloon with it. Hannes got the visual treatment, so do please go check that out, please, as Pretty Ugly always delivers very creative music videos. I would go as far as to say I ain't really seen a whack music video by the guy. The effort is always there, and I really appreciate that so much. So go push all of the guys' videos so that they can at least reach like 1 million, like, you know, because sadly that isn't the case for most of them. Come to My Kasi is track 4 and is easily one of the best collaborative tracks Pretty Ugly ever done released, bruh. The youngster CPT feature on this is fire, bro. This will go down as a classic tune. Hold me to this one, okay? Just hold me to this one and remind me if it doesn't. But like, this song is timeless. In fact, if you haven't checked out the official music video on YouTube, man, you won't be disappointed, especially if you just trying to hear some sick bars over a very mellow beat. It all comes together perfectly. My Swing follows up, and it 2 was released as a single before the project dropped, and yeah, it deserves the push. The beat is very, very fun. You're just emotionless if this doesn't shake you up a bit, you know. Such a fun beat. But when it comes to lyrics, Priddy is laid all the way back on this one, man. Clearly on purpose and clearly in favor of the track. Again, Ugly's creative side is allowed to shine on this, proving that he can make those bars after bars type of songs, but can easily do a fun vibes, only even comedic lyrics. I mean, dude has said something like "Schoa, now take me a pic, take me a peek. Way too legit, not faking a bit." Okay, I hope you get that. Like, that's what he said on the song, right? Basically announcing he about to spit in English, which is what "schoa" means. Then proceeding to rap in broken English. Like, you know, like that is just creative on another level, and I really, really appreciate this about Priddy Ugly. Track 6 is titled Pray, and by now it's easily one of the best features Priddy ever done. This is a personal opinion because Pray happens to feature one of my all-time favorite rapper in SA, Ginger Trail. Remember this song because I'm not done with it. Big Star Johnson makes an appearance on track 7, and it may not be one of my favorite songs, but it really doesn't suck. We got a track titled Ambitious at track 8, and Priddy stays on point for this one, just explaining his ambitious ways. Now, the last 2 tracks on this album are, in my opinion, essential Priddy Ugly songs. Okay, essential Priddy Ugly songs. Besides these being some of his best earlier works, they're also just timeless classic tracks that, you know, always just take me back to the first time I listened to this. I'm talking about track 9, Cocaine Ghost, and track 10, Bula Boot. These both had music videos before the project dropped, so please do check those out on YouTube. Let's start with Cocaine Ghost. The song is about a dope-ass white sports car. You down to ride in a cocaine ghost, raps Priddy Ugly on the hook, giving me the clue to my conclusion. Listen, besides the song being really dope, the music video has one of the first instances where I saw Priddy Ugly's future wife but then girlfriend Bontle Mudiselle. And even then, you could tell that there's something just very special about both of them. So go check that out just so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Like many SA top tier rappers, Priddy Ugly also got his start at YFM's legendary show, Season Scoops, the Full Clip Show. I'm guessing this is where he got in contact with Sizwe Romo, who is present only through voiceover in the music video for the last song that appears on the project titled Bula Boot. This song was like a precursor to fun vernacular induced hooks that Priddy Ugly would continue to perfect in the future songs such as Tela and Smogol. The song takes direct inspiration from legendary Kwaito star Tebe's classic hit by the same name, Bula Boot, and in my opinion showcases how commercially viable Priddy Ugly already was at this time. Even the music video's aesthetics were ahead of its time. The whole concept felt like a mini movie. Priddy Ugly did everything right. He had an amazing project along with great visuals to sell his vision to the South African hip-hop audience. For the sort of quality music and talent that was being displayed by Priddy Ugly, you would think this project made him blow up and become well known in SA as one of the best rappers out there. But honestly, this project just had a bit of a buzz and maybe brought him a few new fans. But overall, in the mainstream thick of things, it still felt like Priddy Ugly was being ignored and overlooked. And what a pity that is, hey? Priddy Ugly later released the deluxe version of You Don't Know Me Yet with some extra tracks on and even more special features, including Shane Eagle and Aries being the new features on the song Pray. Remember, I told you we're gonna come back to that. But now it was removing the feature, the original feature, Ginger Trill. Normally, I would complain about such a change since I'm a huge Ginger Trill fan, but when the replacements are Shane and Reese, can one reasonably complain? I mean, come on. I immediately accepted this for what it is, and of course advised that go check that out. It's become a bit of a classic song itself. Refi sings and Shane Eagle now appear twice on the album, and both of them feature in a song titled Pillow Talk. The track also features SA R&B trap soul artist known as Cly, Reba Red, and the late great Motswako pioneer Double HP, or better known as Hip Hop Bantola, who features on a song I felt deserves a music video just because of how good it is and the social message the song carried with it just being so strong. And unfortunately, this was just added as a new song on the deluxe version, and is a song I still go back to because of how brilliant and impactful it was to me. Easily one of Priddy Ugly's best songs. Please go check it out. It's titled Tula Mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, please go check that out. That deserved a music video in my opinion. Around April of 2017, Priddy Ugly made an announcement that he had signed with South African independent record label Ambitious Entertainment. Now, to people who were not too familiar with Priddy Ugly, this came out of nowhere, and some probably thought Ambitious has signed a completely new artist. I know it may sound ridiculous that an artist as good as Priddy Ugly was still a mystery to so many people even during this time, but that's just the reality of the situation. But for long-time fans such as myself, this came as a positive news, you know. We all believed that finally Priddy Ugly would get the attention his music rightfully deserves, and the shine would follow, you know, like would soon follow. And initially it looked like Priddy Ugly and Ambitious had hit the ground running immediately with the release of Priddy Ugly's track titled In the Mood, and then releasing the music video with an added verse from possibly the most overlooked and extremely talented rapper trapper Saudi, aka Msotraman. This actually blew up. As expected, a machine like Ambitious behind Priddy Ugly could only produce such results, and Priddy Ugly immediately started working on his first official studio album, to be titled Egypt, which stood for Everything Godly Yearns, Patience and Time. Coming in with 15 tracks, Egypt dropped on November 2017 and got mostly mixed reviews. I remember how excited I was about this album all over my social media platforms. I couldn't stop talking about it because by now you should know I love experimental trap music, and that's what I felt Egypt was. It did deviate from Priddy's earlier work, as this felt super commercial, with songs like My Lookalike and In the Mood feeling like watered down versions of Priddy Ugly. And since I just wanted to see him win so badly, I kinda ignored all that and actually enjoyed the album. But most hip-hop fans didn't seem too impressed. I still, till this day, you know, find the album to be worth a listen, and the track Wavy still finds its way to my playlist. I just love it so much. Tlatsa Dankatela was a standout song on the album and even got a Skotani inspired music video. Again, Priddy Ugly fusing his musical style with pure South African street culture, and I couldn't help but appreciate it. Another standout song on the album was O2 Hero featuring Shane Eagle, a supreme song that was worthy of the music video treatment, and Ambitious came through with the visuals, which were hella clean, and the cars were very cool. Totally worth a watch on YouTube. Biki, which is an Afrikaans word meaning little, was a song title that also happened to feature the best trapper South Africa has ever produced, and I mean ever, bruh. This guy is probably the best trapper in Africa. He goes by the name of MT, and what a feature this was, and took full advantage of this album's format. Guys want to talk about how impressive the song transitions are on an album like Excuse Me for Being Antisocial by Roddy Ricch. Well, Priddy already did this way better on his Egypt album, and to hear Pretty Ugly and Empty on the same song was a listening pleasure for me. The song titled Smogolo, immediately went onto my playlist after I listened to it for the first time, and remains one of Pretty Ugly's best tracks of all time. I like the wordplay on this, and the use of multiple languages works really great here. And if you like me, and I actually understand exactly what he is saying on this song, the song only becomes more and more impressive. The beat is Kwaito infused with those ghostly flutes that remind me of DJ Cleo's earlier works with artists like Mzegezege and so many other songs that just had that ghostly effect on the beat. It's insanely useful as a nostalgic sound to take you back there to those days, and Pretty Ugly's lyrics delivering on the same sentiment. Him just talking about the struggles he went through. It's truly a song worth listening to if you haven't. Like, all in all, Egypt was a decent project, if not a really dope project in my eyes, but like most people say, it's a decent project. And once again, I believe Pretty Ugly was just too ahead of his time for most hip-hop fans in South Africa. They just were not ready for this. Some expected just hard-hitting lyricism, but Ugly was aiming for more here. Yes, maybe not all of this was well executed. However, some of the ideas on this album are still being used by some new up-and-coming rappers in the country today, and so many fans hardly notice because they skip over Pretty Ugly's music, which has had an impact in South African music, whether they know it or not. August 2018 saw the release of the deluxe version of Pretty Ugly's debut album, Egypt. And it's around this time as well some of us start noticing that Pretty Ugly doesn't seem to be associated with ambitious entertainment anymore. It's hard to actually confirm if by this time he had already left the label or not. After some time, he made it clear that he felt Ambitious went back on their agreement and didn't fulfill everything they had promised Pretty Ugly, and that's why he felt he had to jump ship. I always saw him signing as a positive thing, and for what it's worth, I think in the end it really was a good move. He was smart for not signing a long-term contract. In fact, I don't believe he signed anything that was even longer than a year. Nevertheless, Egypt, the deluxe version, came out with 6 new songs, 2 of which were favorites of mine, Water Galore and of course Hush Hush featuring Wichi 1080 and Youngster CPT. Wichi came out hard on that one. I swear, if you doubt Wichi can do more than produce a sick beat, this is the track to prove you wrong, man. Plus, it got the visual treatment, which is very interesting if you happen to have been a fan of Pretty Ugly since the swag demonstration days, and most importantly, the Bula Boot days, because the Hosh Hosh music video is actually somewhat of a continuation from the Bula Boot music video, starring who appears to be the same guy who was put in the boot all the way back then to even now he still gets kidnapped. Or this is showing how he got kidnapped, since the Bula Boot video never actually showed us how Pretty got him. It's all very satisfying to watch as a longtime fan, because it becomes very clear that despite not getting his flowers, Pretty Ugly is dedicated to his craft. He loves what he does. He invests very heavily on himself and his work. As a fan, I can't help but stand. I just can't help but be a complete stan of this guy. He shot another video for a song from the Egypt album titled Smogolo. Like I said already, the song is a favorite of mine and represent Priddy Ugly's unorthodox rap style very well. The music video shows us some of the most closest people to Priddy Ugly. I mean, his dad shows up in this one, which was such a cool moment, and I really appreciated it as a fan. Ugly and Witchy riding behind a van, which with a television displaying the most legendary struggle icon, Steve Biko, on the television screen. And at this point, of course, such things shouldn't surprise you from Priddy Ugly, as he has always had his music and art rooted deep in South African culture. Around this time is also when he announced his independent label Gas, and so like he was dropping music and videos from his own independent thing now, which just made it feel like everything was going really, really well for Priddy Ugly. And it seemed like it was about to get better, as Priddy Ugly would drop a collab project with his wife titled Rick and Jade. What first dropped was an EP with 2 songs from Priddy Ugly and Bontle now appearing as Rick and Jade. One of the standout songs from this initial EP was Sweetie Lavo, and a very special music video was shot for this one, as it would actually be showing visuals from their actual wedding, just making the song that much doper and the moment so much more special. Around that time, Bontle was pregnant as well, so it just felt like they just kept winning, man, win after win, win after win. And they would later release a longer version of their EP titled The New Africa, you know what I'm saying, and they stylized it, shortened it to DNA. DNA had a very interesting cover as well, featuring a painting or a cartoon version of Bontle pregnant and a child being visible on her stomach. The project was released on August 2019, featuring 10 tracks, and of course, I got some favorites over here. I Pray track 4 is a really smooth track, and Bontle delivers some nice vocals, and it's just a must listen, man. Ever wondered what would happen if Bontle was featured on like a song like Smogolo or like a Bula Boot, you know what I'm saying? Like, ever wondered? Well, I believe track 6 is the answer. The track is titled Ding Dong and is the answer, man. Why didn't this get a video? I mean, this is a hit, right? Like, Ding Dong is a hit. I don't know anymore, man. I just know that this song, I just love it so much, and a video would have been well deserved. I mean, they use one of them old, and I mean very old folk songs sang across most of, if not all, South African hoods. Every black child in South Africa knows the Bell song, and I mean it goes something like Bana basikolo, Bana basikolo, Klong sikolong. I mean, the way they used it was really dope. Bontle did the hook justice. The song directly after that is still my jam. It's titled Muniwari and features insanely talented artists. You might know him because he's just killing it right now. His name is Focalistic, and this is a vibe, man. Again, I wish this got the visual treatment, cause man, it's so filled with flavors, right? Like, and feels distinctly South African, and I appreciate that mostly. And the sort of lyrics Priddy Ugly laying down on this are insane, just so insane, bro. I mean, he says some stuff here that I don't know if it even makes sense, okay? like Muniwari has some really, really interesting lyrics from Priddy Ugly. I mean, he somehow comes through and says something like La Duma Suna Jeresi, our Muna Strunyanke Siske Misi, you know what I'm saying? Chankura Kura Vuma Petrisi, like, bruh, like I don't know how to explain it. Like, you gotta go listen to the song featuring Focalistic. It's titled Muniwari. I saw it. It sounds so dope nonetheless, man. This is what I like about Priddy Ugly, and I bet it's what turns a lot of people off him as well. This is just creativity in my opinion, man. The final track I really want to highlight here is the very last song on the EP titled Service. Priddy makes sure to close this project on a high note, man. Love the lines he drops on this one, and the song is pretty good with a sick beat, man. Like typical traditional Priddy Ugly. We see you stressing. That ain't no drip. We see you sweating. Now your network needs connecting. You need service, okay? Like the service is a really dope song. You gotta go check that one out. I mean, I ain't gotta say more. Go check that out right now, bruh.
Around November 2019, Priddy Ugly decided we don't deserve to breathe, so he unleashed a 9-track EP titled GOAT, standing for Glory on Every Territory. I know, man, after Egypt standing for everything godly, Yan's patience and time, to now Glory on Every Territory, you gotta admit, the guy is pretty slick with naming his project. When I say this guy never disappoints, man, the very opening track to this project is almost overwhelming. I mean, you can tell by the title that the song is about to listen to is very special, but nothing can really prepare you for what Priddy Ugly did on Magnum Opus, starting off like spoken word poetry and slowly building into a very flesh and bones type of song where Priddy actually opens up a lot. Having a baby, but I'm praying for the ones we lost. Married my soulmate, you still picking up hands at the show. Niggas sacrifice their soul for some dumb fake bros. I'm telling you, Priddy starts off very strong. Track 2 does not let up either, and how I would describe Priddy's flow on this one is like one of Elon Musk's SpaceX rockets about to take off until it reaches over the tallest mountain peak, which leads me straight into the title of the track, Every Mountain Got a Peak, and it features very popular South African artist Ricky Rick, who I actually can't wait to cover on this channel, so let me know if you can't wait for that one on the comments. It also features, of course, Priddy Ugly's day one producer Wichi 1080. During December, I just remember my best friend consistently blasting this song whenever I find him at his place, or if someone allows him to control the playlist. He couldn't get enough of this, and understandably so. I mean, it goes hard, right? Be it lyrical content or just the beat shaking everything up, because Wichi hates windows and wants them all to break as soon as you listen to any Priddy Ugly song produced by him, which is like probably 90% of Ugly songs. That track, Everything Godly, gets enough plays from me to have to be highlighted. It from the album. It's the bars for me. Like Ugly just spits so damn pretty on this beat. The last song I absolutely have to highlight from this brilliant project is found on track 6. Go ahead and slap yourself if you haven't had this one. It's titled Water Galore, and I believe it shows up on the deluxe version of Egypt as well, but I sure didn't mind to see it pop up here either. This is what modern hip-hop is at, okay? This is where it's at. This song brings all the elements, the slow, almost hazy vibe the beat brings, and the rhyme scheme on it is very, very top tier, man. And I don't usually use that word, but like when I do, I mean it. You actually feel like you're underwater listening to this one, man. It's really sick tune that I wish you guys would go check out. Like for real, Priddy Ugly went in hard on that one.
Look, man, as far as I can tell, Priddy Ugly isn't going anywhere. In fact, if you go to his YouTube channel, you will notice that he dropped something about like a month ago. So the consistency with Mr. Malloy is just not going to go anywhere. And I know I'm not the only one just itching to hear his new project. It will probably come with an elaborate album name, but most importantly, it will come with bangers unlike any other rapper, be it American or locally. Like no one does it like Priddy Ugly. We all know Priddy Ugly can rap, but if you ever hear someone claim Priddy Ugly can't make a good song, don't even entertain them. Rather share this video with them so they can get this essay hip-hop education. From Who Dat, Priddy Ugly is easily one of my all-time favorite rappers in SA. Of course, my favorite being KO, but that's a video for another day. Please put some respect on Priddy Ugly's name. The dude, unlike a lot of local rappers, actually deserves it and has put in enough work to never be questioned. I mean, one of, if not, the most obvious reason as to why Priddy Ugly isn't as big, besides hip-hop not being the main thing in SA, is because the guy is independent. I could name a few tracks just off the top of my head that I know should have gotten some airplay, but Priddy Ugly never came through with the payola. It's so many challenges the hip-hop industry faces, so many good artists being overlooked because they refuse to be slaves to the contracts. These are the artists we should really get behind. We all they literally got. Thank you so much if you've been watching all the way through. I mean, this was the longest artist profile I ever did, rightfully so. I mean, this was a very special artist I was touching on. And if you enjoyed this video and found it informative and useful to you, please hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next artist profile. Leave a comment behind, let me know which one of Priddy Ugly's projects was your favorite one, and like which songs I didn't mention that you thought were way better than the ones that I mentioned. And also let me know which artists you would like me to do a profile on next time on Who Dat. Like and subscribe.